Hi, I'm Sylvie and welcome back to another video. I don't know if you guys noticed something different if you're used to watching my videos, but the craft room is pretty much done. I just need to finish organizing it. And by finish organizing it, I mean, there's actually a lot to be done. But that is okay because I've started organizing it, which means that I can finally look at my yarn again and be able to have that inspiration back. I have not made a crochet video in a very long time. I feel like since I moved all the way back in September, having all of my yarn in boxes, it has just been very difficult to want to pick up yarn and create. But you guys have been asking for free tutorials, and this is a tutorial for probably one of my most favorite shirts that I have made, and it is the Bookworm Polo. So I'm obsessed with this one because of the sleeve detailing on here. I don't know if you guys can even see. And this is the first pattern that I made out of alpaca entirely. So this is the softest piece of clothing that I own, aside from my wedding dress that I made also entirely out of alpaca. And I also have a black and white version, so it was kind of like a Wednesday and Enid vibe going on when I designed this. Today we're gonna learn how to make this. And what inspired this, you may ask? So if you watch my vlogs or you've kept up with me closely on Instagram, then you may know that I have had this beautiful pink alpaca yarn with little red beads in it since I went to Switzerland. I did pick it up in Switzerland, and it was the last 2 skeins that they had of this ever. Apparently it was an elderly couple that owned a farm, and they made special blends every single year for Christmas time, and they were going to stop after this year. So I'm very thankful to have picked these up, but I have had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with these since I've got them, because I don't want to waste them or anything. And this is when I saw the Ribbler monthly challenge, which was the Ribbler x Bratz collaboration. I love Bratz. I really grew up with those being my favorite dolls, and I figured it would be perfect to make this sweater with that pink yarn for this collaboration. When I was little, my favorite Bratz doll was Roxy, because my favorite movie was Bratz Rock Angels. I really loved the whole goth vibe when I was a kid. And this is the Roxy doll that I had. This was like the Roxy and Phoebe duo, this exact set I remember having. Now my favorite is probably Chloe, the whole pink and blonde sort of vibe. I'm a little bit biased. And with the inspiration just of everything being a little bit pink and fluffy, like in here, I think that the Bookworm Polo will be perfect for it. Now we will get into it immediately. I just wanna say, if you are watching this, kinda wanna win this, so head over to Ribbler. I'll leave the link. You'll have to scroll down on the community post and click like on my journal photo so that I can be put in the voting that will start on the 26th. So if you're seeing this before the 26th, go scroll on the post and like my photo. And if you're seeing this after the 26th, you have 4 days from the 26th to vote. And in honor of that, I also have the Bookworm Polo pattern on my website for $1, and all the way up until the end of the month, I'll have it for free on Ribbler. Alrighty, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Starting off by picking a hook, which I haven't done in so long. I've not opened this up in so incredibly long. I think that for this, because it's a lighter worsted weight, I'm gonna go with this 4mm hook. You guys always ask where my hooks are from. This one is from @sewing_stuff_ on Instagram. For your hook choice, if you are using a lace weight yarn for the whole entire thing, like I did in my original one, I think I used a 3.5mm hook the entire way through. Because I'm using a worsted weight yarn for the body for this one, then I'm gonna go with my 4mm hook. So just go with something that is recommended with your yarn, or if you want it to have like less holes to be less see-through, go with something smaller. If you want it to be more see-through, go with something larger. So before we start, there are 4 measurements that we're gonna need to do. Also, if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I'm reading the pattern that I uploaded over on Ribbler, which is really easy because it's just on my phone like this. We're gonna be starting with the back panel, and what's really interesting about this is it's all worked in one piece. Measurement A, so measure from 1 inch or so below your armpit down to where you'd like your shirt to end. Why it's 1 inch below the armpit is so that your sleeve isn't all the way up here. That's, the more room you give it, the more room you'll have, like the wider sleeve you'll have. Right here, if you're unsure, you can always use where your shirt hits. So that's here for me. And then I just kind of want it like a cropped thing because I think that'll be cute. So let's just go 5 inches. So my measurement A will be 5 inches. Measurement B, the width of the armhole. Measure the width of your armpit horizontally. Add a little bit of room so that your shirt isn't tight. I got 6 inches. Divide this by 2. So yeah, this is for the width of the sleeve. So again, same reason why we had like 1 inch here, so that there's a gap. So you don't want it to be exactly your whole entire armpit because it's gonna be a very tight sleeve. So give it a little bit of extra room. So 6 inches is what I got last time. So 6 inches is what I'm gonna do this time. And divided by 2 is 3. So my measurement B will be 3. Measurement C. Measure from the top of your shoulder to where you decided your shirt would end. The same place where you got measurement A. So that is like if we were to draw a line that divides your body in half up here. So top of the shoulder down to where I want it to end. And that gives me about 12 inches. So my measurement C will be 12. Measurement D. This is just to double check. Measure around your bust like you would with a bra. Your back panel will need to be minimum half of this. I recommend if you're gonna be wearing a bra with this shirt, measure with your bra. Anyway, I got 32 inches. So those are all of the measurements. Make sure that you write these down so that you don't forget. Okay, it's time to crochet. All right, so we're starting off by chaining up to measurement A. So for me, what did I even say my measurement A was? 5? Yeah. So that means I'm gonna chain up to 5 inches here. One thing to note when you're doing chains, now if you would rather, you can do foundation chains instead with half double crochets if you're someone that prefers that, because sometimes it's really hard to get the tension correct with chains and it might affect your sizing. I recommend sizing up. So right now this is a 4, maybe I would chain with a 5mm hook instead and then go back to my 4 just to make sure that the chains aren't too tight. I was in my pajamas the whole time. Oh, this yarn is so pretty. Wow, I haven't used a crochet hook in so long. I've been knitting. I'm actually working on a sweater right now. Look at how beautiful this is as well. This is alpaca and merino wool blend. This is my 5. These are my chains. This is up to 5 inches, which was my measurement A. So now starting in the second chain from hook, or if you did a foundation chain, you can chain 1 and turn. We're going to half double crochet across. Keep in mind the exact number of stitches that you have. So write that down. So here's my row of half double crochets across. You are staring at the wrong side. This is the right side. And I annoyingly have 21 stitches across. Let's move on to the next step. Chain 1 and turn half double crochet across. Repeat this until when you place your panel on your body, starting at your side, you reach the start of your back or very end of your armpit. Make sure you have an even number of rows, including the row from step A, which is what we just did. This is when we will start increasing to create the back half of the armhole. So it's important you have enough of these rows to eventually create enough room for your armpit. I know I just said a lot of stuff. Don't worry, we're gonna go step by step and it's gonna make sense. But essentially right now, all that we need to do is continue to half double crochet across. So always chain 1, half double crochet across until from, let's say we drew a line that goes halfway, like slashes your body in half kind of thing from your armpit down, that it reaches the back of the armpit. So that it would reach exactly where your armpit ends. I got press-on nails from, I think, Winners or HomeSense the other day. I do a lot of rock climbing, and as a pilot, I work with my hands a lot. There's a lot of button pushing, but I've been on vacation for a little bit, so I'm like, oh, why not try the nails? I put them on yesterday, and as you can see, I already kind of rage quit and removed it on these 2 fingers. Now I feel like it's impairing my crochet abilities. For me, this is 4 rows. A reminder that it has to be an even number of rows. So let me show you. So here's that imaginary line. These 4 rows go exactly to the end of my armpit. Okay, so my armpit is like this wide. This reaches the end. If you have an odd number of rows, add a row, do not subtract one. It is always better to have more room for your arm. So don't worry about the other half of the armpit. So the next step, we will chain 1, turn, half double crochet increase in the first stitch, then half double crochet across. Half double crochet increase just means that we're putting 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch. And then I'm gonna half double crochet across. Once you get to the end of your row, you'll chain 1 and turn, and then it's half double crochet across until there is 1 stitch left. And in that last stitch, we'll put a half double crochet increase. Continue repeating steps C and D, so the last 2 rows that we've done, until the width of your panel matches measurement B. So measurement B was the width of our armhole divided by 2. So my armhole was 6 inches that I measured, when divided by 2 was 3. So I'm gonna keep repeating this until I have 3 inches wide. And we're gonna make sure that we finish with our hook back at the top of our piece. So we're finishing with one of those increase steps. Again, when in doubt, if you need to add a row, add a row. We don't want it to be shorter because we don't want a smaller armhole. So this gives me almost exactly 3 inches wide. I don't know why I keep putting this upside down for you guys. And my hook is at the top of the piece, so this has all my increases at the tops of the rows. This remains nice and straight. So this is what yours should look like, and this is 3 inches, which again is my measurement B. Now we can move on. Chain until the entire length of the panel matches measurement C. Measurement C was from the top of your shoulder down to where you wanted your piece to end, and mine was 12 inches. Take note of how many chains you just added. Here you go. This is now up to 12 inches. I added 24 chains, so I'm gonna make sure that I keep this in mind. We're going to, starting in the second chain from hook, half double crochet all the way down. This is where you guys are gonna wanna double check before we keep going, because if it is too short or too long, this is when you can frog and either remove or add chains. I have a really good gap here for my armhole, which is awesome. And this is gonna end just about here at my rib cage. And if you're happy with that, we can move on. So the next step is to chain 1, turn, and half double crochet across. Repeat until when you try it on, both top corners sit at the same place on either of your shoulders. I'm just gonna like zoom you to that point in time where I finished it so that you can see what I mean, because I'm a visual learner, and that means that I need to explain it to you visually. If you get the written pattern, all the photos are there, so it like makes sense beforehand. And it's free on Ribbler right now, so go grab it. Unless you're watching this after May, then I'm sorry, but it's $1 on my website. With the panel where it needs to be on my body, so this is like half of my body. This is so hard to show. This is better if you have somebody to help you and hold it up for you. It hits the same spot on my shoulder on either side. Does that make sense? So when in doubt, you can add a row, because it's better for it to be looser. I do want this to be tight, and I know that this stretches quite a bit, which is why I used this stitch and I made it in this manner. It hits where I want it to. So make sure that you finish this step with your hook at the bottom of your piece. So obviously this is the top, this is the bottom. Make sure that the hook finishes at the bottom of the piece. And now what we're gonna do, now that my arms are all stretched out from trying to show you that by myself, in case we need to add more rows, we need to do a little bit of double checking. So let's measure our entire piece. This is 9.5 inches, it's still upside down for whatever reason, I don't know why. Add the width of this part here that we've made. So that's 3 inches, because that's what would be on the other side. So 9.5 plus 3 is 12.5. Remember measurement D that we took? So mine was 32 inches, so 12.5 times 2. This only gives me 25 inches actually, and I need 32. I have 2 choices here. I could add rows here until my little double check math here makes it exactly 32. Or, I know this stretches like crazy and that I want mine to be tighter on me. I'm probably gonna leave it like this because I know that it's going to stretch. Here's a good way to test it. I could stretch this from the 9 inches that it is to 13. So already there, if I go 13 plus 13, that's 26. And then I would add my 3 inches from the other side. The lawnmower. So already there, that's 13. If I add my 3 inches without it even being stretched, that's 16, which times 2 is 32. And that's exactly what I need. So I'm gonna leave it like this so that stretched out and worn, it'll fit perfectly to size, but just keep that in mind if you guys are gonna do the stretch thing. And that's why measurement D is just a double check measurement. It's not really a measurement. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Otherwise, I'm sorry, and I can explain it better in the written pattern. Okay, that was a lot of math. I apologize for that. Also, in retrospect, I could have probably added more rows because a looser fit would have been really cute for this. It is quite tight on me. Just do it. Just add more rows. I was scared I would not have enough yarn, which I didn't. So kind of glad I did it this way, but that's for later in the video. Once you're happy with the number of rows that you've put down with the stretch or without the stretch, like I just explained, we're gonna move on to the next step. So what we're gonna do, remember the number that we chained here? Mine was 24. So we're gonna half double crochet across all the way until there are the exact same amount of stitches left that you had chained plus 1. So I had chained 24, plus 1 is 25. So I'm gonna go ahead and half double crochet across until there are 25 stitches left. If you wanna make this easier for you, you can also go ahead and count from the top down and put a stitch marker in the number of stitches that you need to save. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my chain 1, half double crochet across until I have 25 stitches left. All right, so here it is. And then once I get here, I'm going to half double crochet 2 together. And that's a decrease. For the next row, we'll chain 1, turn, and this will start with half double crochet 2 together, and then half double crochet all the way across. And we're gonna be repeating these 2 last rows that I just did. Chain 1, half double crochet across till there are 2 stitches left, and half double crochet 2 together, and then chain 1, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet all the way down. We will be repeating that for the exact same amount of rows that we did for the increases in this portion. So basically, we're just matching both sides. We're essentially decreasing until we have the same amount of stitches here that we did when we first started. So this is why it was important to keep this number as well. I believe I had done 21 at the start. So you'll know you're done decreasing once your total number of stitches here matches what you started with. And you should be ending with your hook at the bottom of your piece. So here's a better view at it. So for now, this is what it looks like. So like I said, my hook is at the bottom of my piece, and I have decreased for the same amount of rows that we increased here. So if I were to fold this over exactly in the middle, this should match up. And now we're gonna make it match up even more because we're gonna be doing half double crochet across for the same amount of rows that we have here. I did this 3 times. I have 3 rows here before my increases, which means that I'm going to be putting 3 rows here. Because it's an odd number, you should be ending with your hook at the top. And here you go. So for the front panel, we do have a few measurements that we're going to add on to this. So it's gonna be exactly the same thing as the back panel. It's just we're gonna add the neck. We now have measurement E, which is measure half the circumference of your neck. If the circumference of my neck, 12 or so inches, half will be 6 inches. You can add an inch if you want it to be less tight. Measurement F. We'll take the measurement of just the top of the back panel. So let me show you. The top of my back panel here is 7 inches. So we'll take the top measurement and then subtract measurement E. So for me, that was 6 inches for half of my neck circumference. 7 minus 6 is 1. We will then divide this by 2, so that will be half an inch for me. And that is measurement F, which means that's where we'll be able to place the neck hole. Guys, my battery died. Anyway, chain 1, turn, and half double crochet across for the same amount of rows that we did in that last step there. So just for the straight armpit piece, that's the same amount of rows that we also did at the start because we're mirroring everything. So for me, that was 3 rows, which means I'm gonna do 3 more rows. And because it's an odd number, that means that the hook will end at the bottom of the piece. Right now, I am crocheting standing up. I have a perfectly good chair right here. We're now going to add 1 row so that the hook finishes at the top. Keep this number in mind. So instead of 3 rows, this is going to be 4 rows straight in the armpit here. Okay, so I'm realizing that these instructions as I'm editing are getting more and more delusional, and that's because the day was progressing and I had just been crocheting all day long doing this, so I apologize for that. Because again, we are mirroring everything. As you might be able to guess, we are going to increase because we're gonna do exactly this, but here. So now it's going to be chain one, turn, half double crochet, increase, half double crochet across, and the following row will be chain one, turn, half double crochet across until there's one stitch left, and half double crochet, increase. So we're gonna repeat those two for the same amount that we did at the very start here. So for me, that was 4 rows, which means I'm gonna do 4 rows of increases. Okay, I feel like I'm for sure gonna lose at this game of yarn chicken. I've only got this much left and I'm a little bit scared about that. Here is it's a different colorway, it's still by Lillian Pine. It is the combination that I use actually for my very first crochet pattern, which is the bobble sleeve sweater, which I do have a free tutorial for on my YouTube channel actually, if you want to learn how to make this. It's a lot simpler than what you are learning to make right now. But this is a pretty winner combo. I'm debating whether or not I want to just switch to it right now because I'm just like at the top of the increases. So I could finish these increases and switch to the blue and just have like a blue front. Back on track. Now that my increases are complete, I'm gonna be adding the same amount of chains that I did on the other side. Then in the second chain from hook, I'm going to half double crochet across. After you're done this row, you'll be chaining one and turning as per usual. And we're gonna be doing half double crochet across all the way down until the width of this top panel that we're working on here reaches the measurement F, I believe, which was the measurement of the back panel minus the width of the neck hole. So for me, I just got 1/2 inch, and that means that I'm just gonna be doing 1 extra row here. So you're gonna wanna do an odd amount of rows here so that your hook ends at the top of your piece. Okay, so this is what this gives me. So this is my 1/2 inch measurement, and now we start decreasing for a neck hole. So we're gonna chain one and turn like you're used to doing, and we're gonna half double crochet 2 together and then half double crochet across. Once we get to the bottom, it'll be a chain one, turn, half double crochet across until there are 2 stitches left and half double crochet 2 together. So we are going to be alternating these 2 rows of decreases until you have basically just below your measurement E, which is the measurement of your neck hole, making sure to end with your hook at the top of the piece. Now, if you notice that you're doing this and the neck hole is not becoming deep enough, you can double up on half double crochet 2 together. So you can do 2 of those at the top of every row or every second row. And that way it'll make a deeper V and also a bigger hole for your head. So if you have a measurement that's cutting it quite close like mine, where I only have basically 1/2 inch of play on either side and I didn't add any extra room, it's probably good that you throw in a couple rows that have 2 decreases instead of just 1. Disclaimer is in there because your head is obviously bigger than your neck. Once we sort of near that halfway point is where we're gonna be stopping the decreases. As you can see, I have decreased all the way up until this point right here, which is just about my midpoint. I've just folded this over because like I said, these pieces are pretty much identical. So my decreases are all the way to here, which is pretty much the midpoint. This is where we can do some adjustments if you have a larger chest and you would like more room at the front. So this would make the front piece a little larger. We are going to just do half double crochet rows. If we are not doing this, we're just gonna do a reset row. So you'll just chain one, turn, and half double crochet across so that your hook ends up at the bottom. Just to rephrase, this is the very end of my decreases. I've not done this yet. But if you wanna add just a little bit more width to your front panel, what we'll do is add more rows. So for me, instead of just doing 1, I'll probably do 3. You do want an odd number so that your hook ends up at the bottom of your work once we're done doing this. So just chain one, turn, and half double crochet across however many rows you feel that you need to make room for whatever's going on here. So as I have explained before for myself as well, I'm just a little bit shy of my total measurement that I measured around. I think it was measurement D, which was 32 inches. So just to make sure that I have enough room, I'm gonna add 3 rows of half double crochet only, but it's also 4:30 for me right now, and all I've done today is sit and crochet and film this video to try and explain it to you. So I'm gonna go for a run. You'll either see me after that or you'll see me tomorrow. Okay, I did my run. I'm gonna add those 3 rows that I was just talking about, and then we're gonna start doing the increase rows again. Now, you guys know the drill by now because we are doing the exact same thing that we did on the back. So once I'm done adding these, I'm gonna do half double crochet until the last stitch and then place a half double crochet increase, chain 1, turn, half double crochet increase, and half double crochet across until I've increased the same amount of times that I have decreased here. The one thing that you guys should totally keep in mind for this, however, is if you did like me and you did 2 decreases in one row, make sure that you do 2 increases in one row. And then with that said, you're gonna add the same amount of rows that you did just flat at the top. So for me, that is 2. And I'll see you guys once I'm done this front portion. Actually, you know what? I believe in you guys. Once you're done your increases and putting your flat number of rows, we are going to do the exact same thing that we did on this side. You're gonna be finishing this row with your hook at the bottom, and then on the way back up, you're gonna stop at the same amount of stitches that you had here plus 1, and you're gonna add a decrease. And then we're gonna do decreases for the same amount, and you're gonna add the same amount of rows here that you did here. Okay, I'm back because I did finish it actually quite quickly. Here is what your piece should look like. This is the back, and this is the front with the same amount of rows either side. So it looks like one big weird hybrid thing. And now fold it like so, and you're gonna sew the tops together. So only where you have those rows where you measured for that neck measurement. Mine is only 1/2 inch, so I'm just sewing these 2 rows, and then we're gonna sew this together, and you should have the exact same number of stitches on these 2 sides. So we're gonna sew them together, and it's gonna be nice, easy, and seamless. And then you have a little vest that you can try on. There you go. Imagine that I don't have a sports bra underneath. It's just stretchy enough. I could have probably given myself a little bit more credit and given myself a few extra rows. In the front up top is what the back looks like this. And here is what the front looks like. I think that this is actually super cute. Love it. Good morning. It's the next day. Also, if you guys like this sweater, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel on how to make it with like a matching bottom, but I'm just wearing my same pajamas as yesterday. Today, it's time for the sleeves, and if we have time for it, the collar and the bottom. So I did kind of go ahead yesterday and start one sleeve. This is actually so easy. All you do is poke your hook in on the back side. I like to put it where my increases connect. So like right here, and that's where I started on this one. And you just half double crochet around. Now the key to this is that if you are using a yarn that is smaller, really make sure that you put enough stitches around so that your armhole isn't too tight. And after you're done putting your half double crochets around, try it on just to make sure that it still fits nicely around your arm. Otherwise, I would recommend maybe adding a couple more stitches so that it's not tight. Now, the other thing that you need to do for the sleeve is make sure when you put these half double crochets that you have a multiple of 3. So my sleeves are 75 stitches around. So originally I put 75 half double crochets. Once you're done putting your half double crochet, you will slip stitch to the first half double crochet that you put in, and we'll just be continuously crocheting in the round. So when you start your row, it's a chain 5, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet into the next stitch. After you've done this, it's a chain 2, skip 2, half double crochet all the way around. So for here, I've already placed my double crochet, chain 2, I'm going to skip 2 and place my double crochet. And once I'm done, chain 2, and again, skip 2, place my double crochet like this. So you'll notice that these double crochet placements are over top of the ones from the previous row. So you've made your way around. So you finish with that last double crochet, chain 2, and then we will just slip stitch in the 3rd chain from the chain 5 here. So 1, 2, 3, and there you go. That's the end of your row. Once you're done that, I like to just chain 1 And then what we're gonna do all the way around is put 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 spaces, and then half double crochet in the double crochet from the previous row. So again, I'm putting 2 half double crochets in the chain 2 space. Oh, this yarn has like 3 layers to it. And then a half double crochet in the double crochet. And so we're doing that all the way around, which keeps our multiple of 3. And when you're gonna come back around to here, just place a slip stitch in that first half double crochet that you did. And you just repeat those 2 rows. So the half double crochet rows and then the double crochet chain 2 rows, literally till you have the length of sleeve that you want. Okay, I'm almost done my sleeve right now. I ordered this skirt off of Amazon because it was sort of giving 2000s. It looks absolutely minuscule. Okay, I have shorts underneath because I'm wearing a dress, but it's the vibe, but it's definitely a mini skirt. My goodness, I'm really glad that I went with the small and not the extra small. Once you have the length of sleeve that you want, so for me, this will do. I like to add a little bit of a trim to it, and I just do this by adding 2 or 3, probably 3 rows of half double crochet here, and then the sleeve is done. You can tie off and weave in your ends and then repeat on the other side. And then we're also gonna do the exact same design. People are mowing their lawns today. We're gonna do the exact same thing also on the bottom of the shirt. So it's the same thing, just half double crochet, chain 5, and then double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, etc., all the way around until you have as many rows as you want to. For the bottom, am probably just gonna do 1 row. So this is what the 3 rows of half double crochet look like at the bottom of the sleeve. And for the bottom, oh my gosh, it's like every time I start talking, a vehicle passes by. For the bottom, I did only do the 1 row of the double crochet skip 2 with 1 row of half double crochets, because I think this is really cute. And actually, the original design has little ties around the arms and a tie just here at the front. So for the arm ties, all I did was chain until it could go all around my arm, and then I added 10 inches on either side. It's really up to you. That's just so that it could tie into a bow. Let's go right into the collar, which is the last portion of it, and then I still need to finish the other sleeve. So for the collar, we're gonna have the right side of the shirt, so the one with the v-neck portion facing us, and we're gonna be attaching the yarn on the, facing you. This is the left side of the V, but if you were to wear it, I guess this is the right side. But here, anyway, this is how we're attaching. So I just put a slip stitch in here. This will not be worked in the round like the sleeve. It will be just worked in rows, sort of back and forth like this. And then we're going to be doing half double crochet all the way around until you get to the other side, again making sure that it's a multiple of 3, just like we did with the sleeve and with the bottom. And we're going to stop right at this next corner. So we're doing half double crochet around all the way up to here as a multiple of 3. Once you're done doing that, I really strongly recommend trying it on just to make sure that it's not too tight around the neck. Otherwise, definitely add more stitches. So here is what mine is looking like right now. Now we're gonna chain 1 and turn, and then in back loop only. So I've placed a few here just so you can sort of see, but it is only in the back loop, and this is so that the collar sort of, there you go, you can sort of see it already. This is so that the collar flops over outwards a little bit more instead of just sticking straight out. So we're gonna do back loop only, half double crochet across. After that, it'll be really easy. It'll be exactly like we did with the sleeves and with the bottom of the shirt. So once you're done that row, it'll just be chain 5, skip 2 stitches, double crochet. The first skip 2 includes the stitch immediately below your chains. And by that, I mean here is my chain 5. So we are skipping this stitch and this stitch. So 1, 2, this is the 3rd one here that I will be putting my double crochet into. So it's just still going to be the same thing, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, all the way around, and then you put a double crochet into the last stitch. Then we will chain 1, turn, and half double crochet across. You'll repeat those 2 rows until you have the length, I guess, of collar that you want for your shirt. I just did 1 row of this, so just so you guys can see it a little bit better. So this is the initial
half double crochet. This is the half double crochet in back loop only. This is my double crochet chain 2, skip 2s, and then this is just one added row of half double crochet. I'm gonna go weave in some ends, and oh my gosh, I still need a sleeve.
Ta-da! Here it is all finished. Honestly, I made the sleeves a little bit too short, so don't do that. But I was trying to finish it kind of quickly to get this video out in time for you guys and in time for the Bratz Ribbler contest. So, but I honestly love the Bookworm Polo. It's always one of my favorites. This is definitely the shortest one of the bunch that I have made. I'll leave the photo again here for the other two that I did make. They're a little bit more formal and a little bit less out there and cropped, but I do think that this will be really cute to go over something during the summer. But on that note, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you understood what I was trying to explain and got a little bit of fun and learning out of it. So like I said, this pattern will be free on my Ribbler until the end of May. And otherwise, it is $1 on my website, which I will leave below. But totally tag me if you make it. I love to see when you guys make some of my patterns. It just warms my heart. You guys always do such a good job. And don't forget to go vote for me if I do make it through. Otherwise, go click like on the community post. I will leave both the community post and hopefully the voting round in the description below. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!